Tonight, Dar es Salaam City Council meeting votes to oust Mayor Issa Mwita. NECTA releases Form 4 and 2 national examination results. And in sports, Yanga announces Luke Amael as their new head coach. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. The Dar es Salaam City Council meeting has voted to oust the mayor of Dar es Salaam, Issa Mwita, following allegations of misuse of office, failure to oversee funds, including 5 billion shillings from the sale of UDA. During the meeting, chaos broke out after councillors from the opposition opposed the decision by CCM councillors to remove the mayor, who is from the opposition party, Chadema. The opposition councillors say the vote did not meet the 2/3 majority requirement needed to remove the mayor.
Na wajumbe wengine wasiopungua 15 kutengeneza kolamu yetu watu 20.
6 mayors and delegates, not less than 15. What has happened here is you could not know how many delegates were present. We decided to carry on with the meeting. Policies and procedures to remove a mayor from office are there, and I would be foolish to prevent this meeting from taking part.
By the way, tutaenda kwenye upigaji wa kura.
Je, wanaotakiwa kuwepo humu ni wale walio sign au ambao hawajasign? Stoki umndani. Tutaongea kwa utaratibu wa kuruhusiwa kuongea. Endelea.
Asante na kushukuru.
Unahesabu maana ni swala la utashi wa kuelewa.
On arrival, they get registered. So the total of those present is taken from the register.
Kura zilizopigwa ni 16. Mjumbe mmoja ameomba udhuru. Wajumbe wawili hawajapiga kura. Uamuzi wenu umepitishwa. Baada ya hapa kikao nimekifunga. Asanteni sana.
The National Examination Council of Tanzania has announced the 2019 Form 4, 2 and Standard 4 national examination results. The results, which were announced in Dar es Salaam by the Executive Secretary of the Council, Dr. Charles Msonde, said the pass rate in the last year's Form 4 national examination results has increased by 1.38% compared to the previous year.
Jumla ya watahiniwa 340,914 sawa na 80.65.
A total of 140,914 candidates, equivalent to 80.65% of all candidates who sat for the exam. 422,722 have passed. 175,296 female students, equivalent to 79.46%. And 165,618 male students, equivalent to 81.94%. In 2018, 284,126, equivalent to 79.27%, had passed the O-level exams. Therefore, pass rate has gone up by 1.38%.
Mtihani wa kidato cha 4.
A special commission made up of experts from various departments has been formed to investigate the fire which broke out last night at one of the pumps of a fuel tank belonging to Lake Oil Company in Vidibweni area in Kigamboni, Dar es Salaam. Kigamboni District Commissioner Sarah Msafiri had said the commission is made up of experts on oil and gas.
Sasa hivi tunaenda kutafuta nini kimesababisha moto.
Our next assignment is going to find out the cause of the fire. We have a task force ready and we have a team from the national level who will be joining us. All institutions dealing in oil and gas will also be taking part.
Bado uchunguzi tunaendelea nao, hatujabaini moja kwa moja chanzo nini, tutakuja kutoa baadaye taarifa tukishakamilisha.
We don't know exactly the cause of the fire, but we will let you know once we have established the facts. However, preliminary investigation shows that one of the valves was leaking. It took us more than 3 hours to put out the fire.
Kwa kweli moto haukwenda kwenye matenki kama alivyosema mkuu wa wilaya na
We are grateful to the fire brigades for putting out the fire, and they were here until morning. The fire was controlled and it did not spread to other tanks, which would have been a big loss.
Sana. Kwa hiyo kwa kweli tunashukuru.
President of Zanzibar and the chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has inaugurated Zanzibar Bridge by pledging that the government is committed to build high-quality standard road infrastructure in the Isles.
We are forced to build modern roads, however the budget allows. And we will construct many roads, even flyovers. Commuting has become difficult. I came and saw how things were and decided there and then that a bridge must be constructed. Neither those in rural or urban areas could go to the other side. It was hard especially for expectant mothers. We are very happy. Now things have been made easy. All is well.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has revoked a serial auction organized by Tanzania Revenue Authority on 7th of January this year and directed the authority to announce new tenders after expressing dissatisfaction on procedures used to hold the auction. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa gave the directive during a meeting with the Commissioner of Customs from TRA, Ben Asubisie, in Dar es Salaam.
Haya hayafai tu kuliwa na binadamu, lakini yanakutumika pia kwa wanyama. Na kwa kutumika kwa wanyama, kama asingeyapata mahindi haya, angelazimika kununua yale kwa shilingi 8 ili akalishe mifugo.
Now moving on, 68 passengers traveling from Ifakara in Morogoro region to Dar es Salaam have survived a bus accident after the bus belonging to Kidinilo Company veered off the road and crashed into a tree before turning over at Mangae area in Mvomero district. Now 11 passengers sustained injuries in the accident.
Hawa wanatakiwa kutafutwa kama wavunja sheria za usalama barabarani wengine wanavyofanya.
We must look for them because road safety laws have been violated. That's why we are very strict and shall not be lenient on such people. I'm going to contact Sumatra, RTO, DTO and all road safety stakeholders so we can find out what the problem is. When he swerved to the other side, the vehicle crashed. He was not on high speed. We tried our best to save those who were trapped and took care of their property because there were a lot of people around.
President Dr. John Magufuli has arrived in Dar es Salaam from his home in Chato District, Geita region President Magufuli, who was accompanied by his wife Janet, tomorrow will start a 5-day official tour in Zanzibar, where among other things he is expected to lay a foundation stone for the National Security Building in Zanzibar on 11th of January. President Magufuli is scheduled to lay a foundation stone for Mwanakwerekwe Secondary School and inaugurate a 5-star hotel called Verde Azam Luxury Resort and Spa. While in Zanzibar, President Dr. John Magufuli will participate in the 56th Revolutionary Celebrations on 12th of January to be held at the Aman Stadium. And Tanzania has urged envoys and heads of international organizations to adhere to Vienna United Nations conventions and various international laws. The call was made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, during a special meeting with envoys and heads of international organizations based in the country.
Tumesisitiza kwamba mahusiano ya Tanzania na nchi nyingine.
We've insisted that the relationship between Tanzania and other countries is formed in a foundation laid by the Vienna Agreement, the United Nations, but other laws too. Therefore, it is important as ambassadors and representatives of their countries that they follow traditions and guidelines set in such agreements, so that their operations in Tanzania are in line with the agreement. We've started a new chapter on how we relate and work together.
When we meet with him, we have our position, we have what we need, but also we have what the government of Tanzania needs. It's bilateral cooperation. We say and he says, and we follow to go together. So we are very appreciate that meeting today, and we will continue. You know, we have 2 or 3 groups. Arabic, African, European, but today all ambassadors are there. So everybody was very satisfied with that meeting.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly. Welcome back, and in international news. A plane belonging to United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO, crashed in Goma. There were no casualties despite a fire breakout on one part of the plane. We saw the airplane when it was heavily raining. Then suddenly I heard a terrible sound and guessed that probably the airplane has fallen. We were playing when the airplane was landing, and then suddenly there was fire. The Rwandan embassy in Uganda has urged President Yoweri Museveni's government to release other Rwandan nationals still detained in the country's prisons. This comes a day after the military court freed the 7 Rwandan nationals who had been arrested allegedly for illegal possession of firearms were freed.
To the support provided.
Let's put an end to the support provided to the negative elements against Rwanda. This has been spoken about for a while now. There are more than 7 Rwandese that were arrested and they are still in custody. That is why we're calling on the arrest of the Rwandese that were arrested to be released.
It is the hope of the Uganda government.
It is the hope of the Ugandan government that the Rwandese authorities will reciprocate. Many have been released and deported through legal means.
Being sent to the border with Rwanda and being signed for by the immigration authority.
Scientists in Kenya have called on the government to identify areas which have been affected by locusts and take measures to prevent further destruction by the pest. The locust invasion has now spread to Meru and Isiolo counties.
Mjue wale
Locusts that you are seeing right now, in 2 weeks' time they will be dead, leaving the younger species who are not easy to be seen, and they don't make any sound. Our major concern is to trace areas where the pests are reproduced so that they could be contained early. Although there are chemicals spread to kill these pests, we highly encourage traditional methods of getting rid of these pests, including eating them, as well as increase efforts of containing the pests from spreading out to other areas. As a society, we are ready to educate Kenyans on how to get rid of these pests. Politicians in Burundi have expressed satisfaction on progress preparations made by the Independent Electoral Commission for the general election this year. Burundi expects to hold parliamentary and presidential election by 20th May this year. So far, we are satisfied with the ongoing preparations. We believe that the coming general elections in May 2020 will be conducted well. Data will be protected under tight security. That is why professionals have been hired. Registrations will be done at higher standards. And services in the health sector in Mombasa have been affected after nurses in public hospitals entered into the second day of a strike aimed at pressurizing the country government to pay their claims, which include delayed and increased salaries.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Kwamba serikali ya Mombasa County haijaweza kulipa mshahara wa Disemba na tunavyo.
The government of Mombasa County has failed to pay salaries of the month of December. The problem is that since July, these incidences has become a norm. We had several dialogues which were not fruitful enough. That is why today we had a salary parade so as to force the Mombasa County government to hear out our grievances.
Serikali za county.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows next after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. Livestock keepers in Iringa region have urged the government to issue subsidies for preventative and treatment drugs for livestock as they cannot afford the prices for the drugs.
We
are calling on the government to support us in livestock medications issue, especially vaccines of cattle, to be given as subsidies because right now we are buying them at higher costs.
The
ministry has listed 13 strategic diseases which can be prevented by vaccines. Right now, there are plans of making sure that the vaccines reach livestock keepers. The Minister of Natural Resources and Tourism, Dr. Hamis Kigwangalla, has said due to increase in the number of foreign tourists visiting the country, the ministry is organizing an international festival and investment forum for lake-zoned regions in order to promote tourism attractions in the regions. Introduction of the concert will focus on improving tourism and invest in the lake zone region. The platform is supposed to be international. We assure you that we will not let you down in this positive initiative. As leaders, we are obliged to strengthen efforts of turning this initiative into a reality. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, Rashid Tamatama, has said despite achievements made in the fisheries sector, there still remains the challenge of low production of fish in natural water sources. Since 2000, we used to have over 300,000 tons, where in 2017 we reached 387,000 tons. But after introduction of Operation Sangara in 2017 to 2018, there has been some major changes. Industrial economy is fulfilled in higher speed. If we have such kind of companies, then challenges that are faced in the industrial sector will be properly addressed. And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lind.
And in sports news tonight, Young African Sports Club has announced Luke Amail as their new head coach, taking over from Mwinyi Zahera, who was sacked in November last year. The Jangwani team is currently under caretaker Charles Mkwasa.
It is true, we have welcomed a coach from Belgium. He's among the coaches that applied for the job to work with young Africans, and he's among the coaches that have been seen to have qualifications of coaching our club. We asked him to come for talks, and he arrived today, as most of you have already seen and heard, and he has gone to Zanzibar, where he will witness our match today. After that, he will return to Dar es Salaam for further talks, and if we reach an agreement, then we will work with him.
Five Africa Volleyball president says the current weather conditions are part of beach soccer, and so teams participating in the competition at Mbalamwezi Beach should not see it as a challenge.
Yeah, that is the part of the competition. The sun, the heat, everything is a part of competition of beach volleyball. You have to know how to manage it. But about the heat, if the heat is too much, you have to put water on the court during the match, between the two matches, so that you can at least decrease the heat on the court. But when there is a wind, when there is rain, always you cannot stop the game, because it is part of the game.
Real Madrid star Isco's resilience has been praised by manager Zinedine Zidane after another quality performance in their 3-1 Supercopa victory over Valencia. Here is more on the story.
The 26-year-old centre-back, the defensive linchpin of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side, suffered a problem in the goalless draw at Wolves on Saturday and was ruled out of the 3-1 defeat by Manchester City on Tuesday. After the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg, Solskjaer hoped Maguire could be a variable for the weekend visit of Norwich, but he has now been ruled out. Maguire joins Axel Tuanzebe, Eric Bailly and Marcos Rojo as unavailable central defenders and leaves Solskjaer with Victor Lindelof and Phil Jones as his only senior players in the position. The manager also has Paul Pogba, Scott McTominay and Timothy Fosu-Mensah on his injured list, while Luke Shaw is yet to return after illness.
Harry Maguire faces a prolonged period out after tearing a hip muscle, adding yet another name to Manchester United's list of injured defenders. Here's the story.
The Spanish midfielder was among the sorcerers in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, as Real sealed progression to the tournament final on January 12th, where they will meet the winners of Thursday's match between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. Isco has regularly found himself being used as a squad player at Los Blancos, both during Zidane's previous spell and the ill-fated reign of Santiago Solari. But the 27-year-old is enjoying a new lease of life during Zidane's second stint, having started in 3 of Real's last 4 league matches and their previous 2 Champions League games.
And Frank Lampard wants to strengthen his attack by signing Moussa Dembele, and Chelsea are considering whether to test Lyon's determination not to sell the striker this month.
Chelsea are looking to improve their attacking options after having this transfer ban lifted by the Court of Arbitration for Sport last month, and have tracked Dembele since he was at Celtic. Lampard admires the 23-year-old who joined Lyon in the summer of 2018 and believes he could provide quality competition for Tammy Abraham, who has scored 14 goals in all competitions this season. It has repeatedly been suggested that Chelsea could try to convince Lyon to sell by including Oliver Giroud as make weight in any deal. Giroud wants to leave Stamford Bridge, and Lyon are one of the clubs monitoring the France striker, who has interest from International, Bordeaux, Aston Villa and Newcastle.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.